Alright, now we get to do the second part of this. So in the last video we graphed this very first part of the piecewise function, and we only used the graph starting at -3 and ending at 0, and so we ended up with this picture. Now we're going to graph this part of the equation, and this part of the equation says y equals 3 if x is 0. Now that's one point, one particular place where x is 0, y is 3. Now we get to color in this graph here, this point that we had left open before. Now we're going to graph our third part, and the third part there is that square root of x. Now remember, that is part of our library of functions. So hopefully we know exactly what that looks like. That's that graph that started here at 0, 0 and then went up and curved and out over towards the right. Now if we're only going to use the x is greater than 0, that means that we cannot include 0. But our other points like 1, 1 or 4, 2 or 9, 3, remember us going over those few nice points on this graph and saying we could take the x value and take the square root of it to find the y value? That's exactly how we're finding this. So now we have this graphed in pieces, but all on the same graph. That's part C. Now let's go back and pick up part B, and it says locate any intercepts. Because now that we have it graphed, we can read the intercepts right off of our picture. We had a point here of -3, 0, and that is on the x-axis, so that is our x-intercept, -3, 0. Now this point over here, this 0, 0, is not an x-intercept because it's an open circle. Remember that that part of the graph was not included. For y-intercepts, we are crossing the y-axis right here at this point 0, 3. And that is the only place. So now we've listed our x-intercepts and our y-intercepts. The last thing they want us to do is to locate or talk about the range. Well, remember, if domain is x values, range is y values. And when we talk about y values, we have to talk about them bottom to top. We always say smallest to largest. So as we're coming up from the bottom here, the very first place that we encounter a y value is here at the x-axis. So that would be starting at 0, and it actually includes 0 because that was a valid point. And then our y values go up from there to infinity, because even though this part of the graph stops right here at a y value of 3, the other portion of the graph continues on forever and ever. And while it's going, it looks like it's kind of flattening out, it is getting slightly higher as it goes out. If you think about it, if you're out here at an x value of 100, the square root of that would be 10. Or if we're out here, even further. So as we gradually get larger and larger in our x values, our y values will continue to get larger and larger also, meaning that our y values will go all the way to infinity. So our range then would be 0 to infinity.